Hey everybody, BLBDart here from Oliveair Games. We're going to be playing one of my favorite titles, Virtue Espiritus. This was one of my favorite titles to make. It was our most recent title. I just have kind of a fondness for this one. I feel as though this one was the kind of greatest crowning achievement of Oliveair Games. So of course at the beginning here we start out, that's Lucius, the main character, kind of describing his life, his background. That kind of catches everyone's attention. He says that everyone died. This is sort of a flashback here. Some sad music playing. Even more attention grabbing, there is a talking cat. Lucius tells us that he has joined the Truth Society. There's a flashback as to how that happened. So the place that they were just at where everyone died is a town called Gone. This guy with red hair and a sword is explaining to Lucius that he's dangerous. But Sigmund, Lucius's cat brother, is telling him he should not go. It was revealed the guy with red hair, his name is Criso. This girl's name is Moon. And for Lucius, of course, I had kind of a European look in mind. Originally, I thought of him being blonde, kind of like Swiss looking. Moon thinks it's strange that there is a talking cat. She says, no, I've never seen a talking cat in my entire life. So really, Lucius didn't have a choice in joining the Truth Society. They basically told him if he didn't join, they would be forced to execute him since he's so dangerous. And Lucius agrees. He says he's tired of sleeping outside with a cat. They explain the Truth Society is an organization funded by King of Olympias himself, King Zarkus. King Zarkus funded it to keep knowledge of the spirit realm from leaking into existence. So their purpose is to just keep people ignorant about the idea of an afterlife. This is where it reveals that Cassandra is the leader of the Truth Society. This is chapter 1 of the game. The game is split up into multiple chapters. If I remember off the top of my head, it's 4 chapters. So now we can see, of course, Lucius is older. He was trained by Criso. He has the same kind of sword set up in his back and everything. His hair is much longer, darkened. Muriel is a guardian spirit, but she's sort of a messenger now, just telling us that our target is in caves to the south of the town. Spirit of heartlessness is their target, someone who died with a broken heart that was never mended. It's kind of a reference to Eternal Twilight, where he says he's the Heartless. He says, Criso taught me how to use a sword, so... Sigmund mentions they should visit the schoolhouse for kind of pointers. There's also a journal system and a map system in this game. Okay, and if you were not blind, you could see that there was a treasure chest. Let's go get that treasure chest. You got eye ointment. In this game, all of the treasure chests are random. So every time you start a game, all the treasure will always be different every time. Again, Sigmund reminds you to visit the school. In case you're new to role-playing games, you know, that's just one of those suggestions. Even shows you where the school is. Okay, let's look at the menu. We got some items. I really liked also that I was able to implement kind of item rarity, matching item rarity from MMORPGs. Okay, at this point we can turn on the map. Useful. We can turn on the journal. What do I need to look up? I need to look up side quests. Oh, we don't have any side quests. Look up main quest, part 1. Muriel has informed us that the spirit of heartlessness is hiding in the caves to the south. Great. That's about it. Alright, so following this map, we can see there's an item here. Got witch brew. Alright, we can see there's something here. What is this? Hey, it's Muriel. Muriel is in fact the save point. Originally there was a normal save point, but this game is actually just all about underworld spirits, and so I changed it into her. Spirit spots, please. You can communicate with freely and no one but you guys can talk to me. Alright, so we can talk to her. We can switch spirits in this game. So let's go to the spirit menu. Now this is completely unique. No other Oliveair game had this kind of system. Very similar to Final Fantasy VIII. You can equip one of these. It will boost your stats. You could even give both to Lucius, which really you should. And eventually, if you equip certain spirits to you, you can learn their techniques, etc., etc. So, Sigmund was harassing us about the schoolhouse. Let's find out what this old man says. Crops like these are a dream come true. Grotto, the god of the harvest, must be smiling upon us. Ha 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 ha. Okay. What about you? Please, not another lesson from the school. Which is true. I made that as a joke because I really don't like extended tutorials in video games. Combat room. The only reason to come to the school, and I suggested it so much, you don't even need to follow any of these tutorials. All you have to do is open these treasure chests. See, the rest of these tutorials are just kind of people that explain things to you in depth. See, like here, there's 3 treasures. See, so on the map, 250 choin. Since during development, what I did, I left this house for last, so that any kind of changes that I would have wound up making, they would reflect later on. This town is pretty big. It's one of the bigger towns I've ever made. I just tried to go all out with this game. What? Sorry, I've been packaging all the wool up to send to Olympius. Later on, I think that guy gives us a side quest, if I remember right. Okay, so now we're on the world map. This is the first time I implemented a tiny world map. Characters, anyway, tiny world map, sprites, and kind of location indicators. This should be the place, brother. Right, so we're on the coast. It's kind of a coastal cave. I'd never done a coastal cave dungeon. In every game, I try to do a dungeon that's not anything like any other dungeon you've ever been to. But some games, you know, wind up having copies of each other's dungeons. So remember, I made this game to try and have a lot of replay value. So, you know, one time you would level up, you know, X spirit. The other time you would level up another spirit, etc. Also, we've got a bunch of other stuff options, thanks to scripts that we give credit to at the beginning. Let's go with green, like all of our games. Automatic dash on. The rest of this doesn't really matter. Okay, so we have green background. Let's talk to Muriel again so she can give us some spirits here. Shift, there we go. See, Leash is a spirit of speed. Becoming a fast spirit is no easy task. Her life must have been fast and difficult. Either way, her spirit form is now faster than most animals or even ships. Muriel is a friendly spirit from the spirit realm that regulates the activities of other spirits. Spirits of balance are appointed by the god of the spirit realm. Well, it turns out the spirit is actually not here, and it must have escaped through that cave. Or through that hole in the wall. Now they're concerned because they're thinking that the spirit must have went back to town. Oh, something's happening in the item shop. Oh no, help. Some kind of monster is attacking Iazo. Iazo is my favorite character in the entire game.
You are the one who opened the rift. You will not be in the way of my newfound love.
When I wrote Iazo, I was thinking about it. I don't know if anyone who's viewing this has seen Darker Than Black, but at the time I wrote it to be just like a doll from Darker Than Black, like Yin character, where they don't really have any emotions at all. Sobrezo, strong as 10 oxen. Of course, he uses his power and he vanishes. These people witnessed everything. Now that they have knowledge of the spirit world, they have to keep it a secret. So they have to wipe these people's memories. Kind of like Men in Black, really. So this is just spirit version of Men in Black, this game. Lucius doesn't like wiping people's memories, but it's part of the job. They're also supposed to keep it a secret that Sigmund talks, so they think this woman noticed he talks. And he pretends to be out, to kind of be in disguise here. Go back to the seaside cove, run all the way back to the room back there. Of course, Lucius is kind of a kid, so he insults Sobrezo and they start to fight. This is the first time you hear the boss music. Muriel shows up out of nowhere and says, I want you to know that once you defeat these types of spirits, they can be recruited and then you can equip them. Alright, Lucius doesn't have any blade skills yet, unfortunately, so let's just kind of spam attacks. Really kind of don't follow what I'm doing here. I would suggest leveling up Lucius enough that he gets his first skill. I mean, it's not impossible if you don't, but it just makes it a little bit easier. Especially if you get him his better gear, he's not going to get stomped or anything. Of course, there's a reference to Final Fantasy VI death scenes. For bosses, anyway. Now he's level 4, and level 4 Lucius. And now we gain Sobrezo as a guardian. She brews a potion almost immediately, because she's kind of a potion-making character. A lot like Verasia from Unseen World Magical Lens, where I just made it kind of like the chemist from Final Fantasy Tactics.